How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews. Back with another review. Not a blank growler, because there's stuff written on it, but I have to turn it aside because it's from a new brewery by me, Buttzville. You heard me right. Buttzville. There is a Buttzville, New Jersey. Buttzville, New Jersey is like 8 minutes away from where I live. The most famous thing in Buttzville is Hot Dog Johnny's. It's one of those kind of old school roadside hot dog stands that I grew up as a kid going to. When I was a kid, I lived in New Jersey. I lived in Toms River, the shore, for those who know. And we would come up and visit in the Poconos or vacation in the Poconos for a month every year. And we would always stop at Hot Dog Johnny's. I ended up moving 8 minutes away because this is where my lovely wife's farm is. And we've had a couple breweries close to me. You know, I have Zigmeister close to me. We have, Manskirt. There's a Buck Hill brewery. They're kind of like a brew pub. But this is now probably, and if you were to take Buck Hill and kind of put them off to the side because they're a little bit different as far as a brewery goes, like their old brew pub. This is the closest brewery to me now. So it's about 20 minutes away. And I went there today. They opened last week. I was busy last week. I figured to pop in today, grab a growler, and see what's what. So Buttzville Brewing, they're in Washington, New Jersey, which is probably about 8 minutes south of Buttzville. And yeah, let's dive in this. This is their 3 C's Pale Ale. Full disclosure, I've had this beer when I was there. But yeah, first things first. That's clear beer. Who would have thunk it? Clear Pale Ale. It's like, what are you going to do, you know? I love it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, so many places open. No, full disclosure again, they had a seltzer on and stuff like that. So they're definitely catering to a non-beer crowd. But, you know, a lot of people open up places and first thing they go for is the haze. But you got this kind of what I assume is their flagship beer. And it looks all the part of a really nice old school kind of pale ale. You know, almost a lager-like, Kolsch-like in color. Beautiful, you know, half a pinky finger of tight, compact head. I mean, it looks the part. Let's see what this nose has. It's an East Coast IPA. It's an East Coast Pale Ale, I should say Pale Ale. I believe it's, I forget the ABV in this. I want to say it might be sub 4. But now you're talking about 3 C's. You're talking about, you know, I'm guessing here based off of the nose. I mean, it's probably a Chinook Cascade, not even Cascade, Centennial. Yeah. Chinook, Centennial, maybe Citra. But it doesn't come off super aggressive. Again, low ABV beer, but it comes off squeaky clean. There's nothing negative here. But a sweet, soft maltiness. Like, not big and bold. You're not getting up to honey malt level, but you're not down there in that kind of Pilsner, caramel kind of thing, somewhere in between. And then you're getting this kind of nice, soft kind of, when I say East Coast, like fruity, citrus-leaning kind of hoppiness, but it's not anything overly aggressive. There's not a big piney characteristic, so there's no West Coast to be found. So it's like an old-school kind of East Coast kind of pale ale in a very nice way. The nose, while not super impactful, again, low ABV, you're not expecting 2x4 to the face, it smells quite nice. Let's dive in. Cheers. I mean, it really is much more aggressive on a taste than the nose would lead you to believe. It definitely leans a little bit more heavily into a West Coast style. And I would actually kind of walk back that not Cascadey kind of thing and say probably in there. Yeah. It's very much a West Coast pale ale with heavily, I would say, probably Citra involved. I'm thinking maybe Citra involved because I think there's a big, bold fruitiness to this, a bigger kind of citrus, maybe a slight little subtle kind of melon characteristic to this. Grapefruit, but you definitely have that kind of nice kind of resinous, slightly piney thing on the other end of things. It's just a little bit more kind of leaning into a citrus fruit and fruitiness than that full-on kind of aggressive, kind of West Coast kind of IPA. It's really well done. Like, it's squeaky clean. Like, the mouth feels nice. It's not super light and super crisp, but it's light. You know, very much kind of Kolschy as far as mouthfeel goes. Ooh, excuse me. The balance between both the fruity side of the hops and the actual, like, kind of a little bit resinous, kind of West Coasty kind of hops. It's a really beautiful balance. Just think like, I'm not calling it Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but think that beer, lower ABV, and just tilt the scale a little bit more towards the fruity citrus side of things. That's kind of where this beer kind of lands, and it's really, really tasty. So, you know, when breweries open, you try not to have preconceived notions, but it's hard. It's hard, you know, especially if you follow a lot of these breweries on social media and they're not open, and you see drips and drabs of what they're doing, leading towards opening. I got very kind of old school vibes from this brewery. Even like the tagline is not tagline, their info page, and it says it's a lot of German leaning beers. So you're gonna think old school. So when I went in there and I was like, okay, let's get the pale ale right off the bat, I kind of expected it to be kind of very, very old school. And while this has its old school roots and the way it's constructed, the way it's made, listen, it's a hop forward beer and you can see through it. But there is a new school sensibility in the hop schedule here. It's light enough to where I don't think people are going to get too kind of poopy about it. You know, a lot of these kind of new school IPAs are more brewer sugar than malt. And this is kind of just a straight malt beer, not malt forward, but it's light and nice. I don't think that new school crowd's going to be like, I don't like this. Then again, I think the old school crowd is going to be quite happily surprised, or pleasantly surprised, or just happy. Let's not say surprised. Because it does have a bit of new school, but you can tell its roots are kind of firmly entrenched in old school. And honestly, you know, this is the first beer I had from them. I liked it quite a bit. I was very, very smitten with it, and it was very, very cool to have this kind of clean, squeaky clean, kind of lower ABV kind of pale ale down the street from my house, you know. So I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks of this, because like I said, they've just opened, but Beer Tuberpalooza is, it's a week today. I'll post this tonight. It's a week today. So today's the 7th. It'll be on the 14th. And I think we're going to go here. I think I'm going to take the group of guys. We're going to go to Hackettstown, hit a couple places, hit this place on the way back, kind of, and go to my place. I'm curious to see what they think. They'll probably have different beers on. But I dug them. I had 3 beers when I was there. I had their Saison, which was really, like, they talked about described it as a spicy Saison. It was super banana forward. It was almost like a wit beer kind of banana for me. So it was more wit beer than Saison for me. So it just be a yeast dressing thing. I don't know. And then they had their stout. It was a lower ABV stout. And it was really roasty, toasty, and really tasty. The big bummer about that one, it was actually almost it was not even barely carbonated. Like, it just missed the mark in carbonation, but you could tell the beer was really well done. So out of the 3 I had, I really enjoyed it, and just to have that nice kind of spectrum from, you know, stout to Saison to they had a blonde there. They had a couple other beers, not many, maybe about 6 beers, but this is definitely the winner of what I had. So I figured I'd take that home and review it and just say, hey, go check these guys out. You know, new breweries opening, especially, you know, in COVID times, is always a hard thing for anybody, you know. And if you're just like, well, if you don't want to open a brewery in COVID, why would you open a brewery in COVID times? Well, you know, this brewery was probably planned before COVID times. You know, it takes a long time for these places to open. So to see them in a downtown that's kind of revitalizing. Washington's not known as the nicest town, but it's starting to get its comeuppance. That's a negative way to say something, right? But it's starting to get its shit together, let's put it that way. And it's nice to see a brewery down there. I mean, I have to literally pass by this place if I want to go to grocery shopping pretty much any time. So it'll be nice. So yeah, super tasty beer, super well done. Old school and sensibility, a little new school dollopness on it. Is it one of the better pale ales I've had as of late? Yes. Is it Mount Rushmore status? No. But it's in the mix. You know what I mean? It's not a negative beer by any stretch. It's very tasty. I'm glad I have a whole growler of it. Let's put it that way. Value and availability on this, I actually don't know. But let's put it this way. I had 3 beers, and I got this to go, and it was $30. So it's probably I'm guessing $12 maybe, because it's probably like $6 a beer. Getting an 18, and you get $12 for the pallet. I'm not too shabby. And leave you with, if you like, what will you like this? If you like pale ales, not super turbid, crazy, over the top, hazy pale ales, but if you just like hops and you like them in a really well constructed package, and you're just not into the super turbid chalky stuff, that's all you care about, it might not be your cup of tea, but I don't think you drink this and go, ugh, you know. But if you just like beer, hoppy beer, I mean, you know, not to be that kind of on the nose. But if you like hoppy beer, definitely worth checking out. If you like breweries trying to do good things, and that's, you know, we all want local, man. The closer they get to my house, the better. And yeah, can't wait to see what these guys do. So there you go. Reviewing the Bucks. Let me know if you had anything from these guys. I mean, I know I have a lot of local guys that follow me too. Yeah. Let me know if you've had this down there. If you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of Buttzville right now. That's right, I said it. Buttzville Brewing. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.